Looking for a card that's just a little bit different? How about a mini Slimline card with a matching envelope? Yes, we're going to create both today. Friends, these little cards are absolutely adorable. Love them. And guess what? This little envelope is created with just one 6x6 piece of designer series paper. You're going to love today's Tuesday tip video. Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. I'm so glad you guys are here for today's Tuesday tip video. Like I said at the beginning, I have got a fantastic project for you today. We're going to create two mini Slimline cards, but we're also going to create an adorable little matching envelope to go along with it. And yep, it's created with just one sheet of 6x6. It's a fantastic and adorable project. I'm ready to get started. I hope you're ready to create along with me. All right, friends, let's jump in. So we're going to start with this card here, and we are going to go ahead. We're going to create the envelope first. Now, before we get into all of that, I do want you to know there is a free download that goes along with my video today. So don't worry about writing down any of the measurements or anything like that, because this download has it all. You'll have your supply list. You'll have your measurements. You'll have photos. You'll even have a QR code so you can come back here and watch the video again if you need. And also, I have for you a really great supply list, short and sweet. Friends, if you click this graphic or scan the link right there, it'll take you to my online store. And if you're in the United States, guys, I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Everything I'm using on my projects today are going to be found right there. Thanks again for your support. I always appreciate those orders. With that, let's go ahead and jump in. So to create the little envelope, you're going to need a piece of 6x6 designer series paper. I'm going to use Petunia Pop. I really loved the stripe on this. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer, but I don't want to cut. I actually want to score. So I want to make sure that cutting blade is out of the way. I'm going to start with the top of my card. All right. So decide, especially in my case, I've got lines. I want them to be horizontal. So I'm going to make sure my paper starts in that horizontal position. And you'll see the first thing we want to do is we want to score at 1 5/8 right there. We're going to give that a score at 1 5/8. And then just slide that down to 4.5 inches and we'll give it another score. All right, we're going to rotate that designer series paper and we are going to score at 3/8 of an inch on one end. We're going to rotate that around and we're going to score at 3/4 of an inch on the other side. Okay, it's time to do a little trimming. Now, I'm going to tell you, I like to use my paper trimmer to do this type of cutting. You can use your scissors too, whichever way works best for you. So what we want to do is on these two shorter ends that we just did. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back at the 3/4 of an inch mark. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down to, hopefully I can see my line there, but you're just going to cut right to the horizontal score line, all right? Or the vertical score line, forgive me. We're going to do that here on the other side. Just give that a cut, and you can see we have something like this. All right, perfect. Well, now what we're going to do, I'm going to give these little score lines a little fold to kind of help me see. And what I want to do is I'm just going to slice at an angle, just cutting from the inside to the outside. That's the top of my envelope. Now let's do the bottom. And we can do that exact same thing. But you know what? How about I show you how to do it if you didn't want to cut that way? Watch what we can do. We can just cut right we're not right along the score line. You're actually going to cut the score line off just like that. And guess what? The same thing that we just did up at the top, we're going to repeat. Just miter in from the inside to the outside. So you should have something like that. Now, to put our envelope together, you're going to want to use tear and tape. All right, this is kind of important. It allows us to get just the right amount of space so that everything's going to fit in that envelope just right. You see, I'm just going to give it a quick score here with my my bone folder. But what I want to do is I want to kind of fold these in. You'll see which one lines up in the middle. All right. So I can see this is the one that I want on top. So let's take our tear and tape. In French, you are going to want that to go right along the edge. And I mean right along the edge. Otherwise, our envelope will stick together. And we don't want that, do we? All right. So I'm just going to trim that. And we will peel off the backing. And there's the first part of my envelope. All right. See, not stuck together. That's what we want. All right. Now we're going to come down here at the bottom. And this is the bottom. The larger one is the top. And we're going to put tear and tape all along this bottom edge. By the way, I know it's tear and tape. I'm just a fan of cutting. I hope that's okay with everybody. And we will remove the backing here. And now that allows us to close up our envelope. Now, if you're going to be giving these as a gift or, even if you're going to be giving them with like a gift card inside or whatever you plan to do, we are going to want some adhesive up at the top. Now, this is used when we are done. We've signed our card. We've put it in. You're going to peel that off and then you can close it up. But we're not doing that just yet because we still have to make a card. So let me set this off to the side. We're going to jump in with our card. I'm going to start with a piece of petunia pop. This is 5 1/4 by 4 3/4. And with the 4 3/4 up at the top, if you'll score at 2 5/8 of an inch, that's going to be the base of our card. I'm now going to bring in 2 pieces of blueberry bushel. Guys, these are 2 3/8 by 4 1/2. Whoops, sorry about that. And since I'm at that point, I'm going to go ahead and add these pieces of cardstock to the front and the inside of my card. All right, we have that done. Time to do some stamping. So I've got 2 pieces of basic white. Actually, let's go ahead. I'm going to need 3. So I got 2 pieces that are 2 1/4 by 4 3/8. And then I have a little pieces as this is a 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. I'm going to be using 2 stamp sets today. Fields in Bloom and Unbounded Love. Now, the reason I'm bringing in 2 stamp sets, Fields of Bloom is a fantastic set, but you notice there are no sentiments in this set. So I'm going to bring in Unbounded Love to create the sentiments for the card. We're going to start, though, with Fields of Bloom. I'll be using Petunia Pop and Granny Apple Green. I'm going to start with the Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to get a little something underneath me here because I will be stamping off. So I'll bring in just a little bit of grid paper. So when I go to stamp, this is the leaves and stems and all that. All right, we're only going to be, you can see we're only using part of it, right? So what I want to do, I've inked that up in Granny Apple. I want to make sure I'm going off the bottom. I don't want my leaves and stems floating. Just like that. Now I'm going to do that same thing here with this little piece of basic white cardstock. When you stamp this one, I want you to come kind of way down here because we're going to be stamping on this. And this is the tag for the front of our card. While I've got my Granny Apple Green out, this is for the inside of the card. So let's just stamp. I know it looks weird. I'm going to make it look beautiful here in a minute, but that's just going to give us the ability to do some 2-step stamping. So now we can bring in that Petunia Pop. Let's add some gorgeous flowers. So we'll start with this one here. And I love 2-step stamping for this reason alone. Boop, boom, done. Beautiful. I love it. Now let's bring in all of these gorgeous flowers. You notice I'm only really stamping the center part because the images I have here are pretty tight. And you're going to be able to see right where your flowers go. See that? Perfect. Now let's do that again right here. We'll ink that up. And yeah, you see all those little holes? Well, they're just waiting for you to create beautiful flowers in a field in bloom. All right, now let's add our sentiments. So I'm going to come in now with blueberry bushel, and we will start with the word hope. Perfect for a card, right? Everyone can use a little hope right now. So I'm going to stamp that a little bit over on the left side. And I'm going to say on my card, hope is believing in a brighter tomorrow. There we go. Now I want to go ahead and add a sentiment here on the inside of my card. And for that, we're going to say, you are loved. Again, just a beautiful, nice sentiment. And hey, while we've got that out, let's go ahead and stamp you are loved. This is for the image that we're going to add to the envelope. All right, we are done with that. Last thing, we're going to bring in some balmy blue and just going to add a touch of clouds. I'm going to ink those up, but I'm going to stamp off once because those are some pretty harsh looking clouds. I don't want to send a statement of like gloomy clouds, right? I like them to be a little bit lighter. So we'll add those right there. All right, friends, let's put this card together. It just couldn't be any easier. We're going to take our stamped images. We'll add those right there to our card. Remember that great focal image for the envelope? I'm going to add that to a piece of blueberry bushel. And friends, that is a 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. Let's bring in our envelope. So again, you're going to sign your card, send all the well wishes, then you're able to seal it up. But I'm going to save mine because I might need this card a little bit later. I'm going to bring in some sheer ribbon. Now you might be going, but Connie, if you put that on the outside, then I can't mail it. Friends, this is not a card you can mail. It is actually too small to go through the mail. So this is a card that you're going to give when you're actually going to see the recipient. All right. And even though that might make you shy away from it, guys, we have plenty of times that we maybe take a friend out for a birthday lunch or a coworker or maybe somebody at church that just needs a little pick-me-up. These are the cards that we like to give away. So I'm just going to take that sheer ribbon because I think it just looks beautiful on this card or on this envelope. We'll add that. I'm going to trim that down. And I am simply going to add some adhesive right there in the corner. I'm going to tuck that under. Boom. Look at that. We have our adorable card and matching envelope. Guys, it really is that easy. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to jump in. We're going to create a really fun card. This time we're going to add a gift card. Before we jump in with our second card, just a quick reminder that this free download is waiting for you at simplysimplestamping.com, or if you look down in the YouTube description, there's a direct link to today's post. Friends, I want you to have all those measurements at your fingertips. Be sure to go grab it. I absolutely adore this card. I think it's such a fun way to give somebody a gift, whether it's for birthday or just saying thank you, whatever it might be. But adding a gift card is always a good idea, right? So on this card, we're going to say shopping is always a good idea. And of course, we've got our fantastic envelope. So friends, for this card, I'm going to be using the stamp set Attention Shoppers. This one has been a favorite of mine. We've got a cake, we've got a little champagne, we've got flowers, we've got a gift bag, a plant, and it has just so many fantastic sentiments. Today, of course, we're going to be creating a birthday card with a gift card. So we're going to do a little shopping. So I'm going to go ahead. We'll go through this very quickly because we just went through it. This time I'll be using Summer Splash Designer Series paper. So remember that was 1 5/8 that we are going to score, and then 4.5 inches. And then we're going to rotate. We're going to do 3/8 of an inch on one end and 3/4 of an inch on the other end. All right, friends, just like before, I did my little cuts. I'm going to trim away this excess, but here's something interesting. I want you to hold on to these. I know, but I can't stand waste. So we're going to make some little tags out of those pieces. So go ahead and hold on. to all 4 of these, right? We'll just snip that away. I'm going to go ahead. Remember how we did it. We want to find out which one is the center. It's this one here. Remember, you're going to want that tear and tape right along that edge. We'll close up that part of the card. Now we can add tear and tape right down here at the bottom. And of course, one more piece at the top, but we're not going to seal up the envelope just yet. All right, envelope is done. Let's create the card. Just like before, only this time I'm using Summer Splash. This was 5 1/4 by 4 3/4, and then I've scored right here at 2 5/8. This time I'm going to use basic black as my layering pieces. 2 3/8 by 4 1/2 inches, 1 to the inside and 1 to the front. All right, let's do some stamping. We're going to start with our greeting on the front that says, shopping is always a good idea. Now we're going to bring in the gift bag, and I'm going to show you a little trick. So I'm going to stamp one kind of up higher towards the greeting. I'm going to stamp another one, and I'm actually going to stamp over this one. Don't worry, it's going to be hidden. But I do want you to kind of come over as far as you can, about like that, all right? Now I'm going to do one more, and this is just a scrap of some basic white. Let's see, I think mine is cut 1 3/4 by 2, but it really is. We've just got a scrap. Now on this one here, excuse me, I'm going to stamp happy birthday. And then I've also got just a little piece. This was like a 1/2 inch by 2 1/2 inches. And let me show you real quick, because I've got my ink out, I want to go ahead and do all my stamping. I'm going to snip a little flag on this piece. This is going to be for the envelope itself. And we will say happy birthday on that as well. With that, our stamping is done. Let's do a little coloring. And to do that, I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends. So these are in Summer Splash. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the dark, and I'm just going to kind of add a little dark just like that. And then let's see, over here, I think I'll go down the side. A lot of this is not going to show, but since I'm not 100% sure what won't show, I'm going to go ahead and get all of that. Oops, let's get our bag right here as well. So we can just get that with the dark. Now we can come in with the light, and we're going to start to blend together. So just let that alcohol in your Stampin' Blends touch the dark. You'll just kind of blend those together. And I love this color. It reminds me of Tiffany's, and I love Tiffany's. And I'm going to go ahead, I'll finish coloring this, and I'll color these as well. All right, I have that done, but we're going to do one more thing with our Stampin' Blends. See the word always? I'm going to take a Stampin' Blend, and I'm going to trace out the word always. I just thought it might kind of give it a little extra something. I don't know, I just kind of like it. What do you guys think? Just like that. I don't know. I think it's really sweet. All right, friends. So at this point, you can either fussy cut your shopping bag, but I'm going to be using the matching dies. So I'm going to use that die right there. And I am simply going to run this through my die cutting machine. I'm going to use my mini machine because it's just a small little die I'm using. And I'm just going to line up that die right there with my shopping bag. Add a top cutting plate. I can run that through. And we're ready to add this. That's why I said it wasn't going to matter too much. We'd be covering that up. Let's add this to the front of our card. Of course, we've added our additional piece there to the inside To add the gift card to the inside, I just place a little bit of tear and tape on the inside. Add my gift card. We're going to come back in with the sheer ribbon. All right. I'm going to go ahead and tie this again, just in a bow like I did before. Now let's get creative with those scraps. So I'm just going to trim off. That was just the little, the miter there. I'm going to make another little banner flag out of one of the larger ones. And we're going to repeat that with one of the smaller ones. Just make a little narrow banner there. We're going to add these to the envelope. Of course, I want to use the opposite side so it kind of shows. So I'll add one there and I'll add one here. And now we're going to take our happy birthday that we created, but let's give it a little something. I'm going to just give it a nice little bend with my bone folder. But now I'm going to come and I'm going to get the little flags on the end. So we got a little ripple effect there. I'm going to add a dot of adhesive here and a little bit on my flag down at the bottom. Give it just a little bend before you adhere it down between your two designer series paper flags that we created. And friends, look at this. We're ready to go. Right there, down into our envelope, ready to send. Aren't these cards just so stinking adorable? I love them, and I love that I was able to create that envelope with that 6x6 designer series paper. Everything matches, everything looks beautiful. You're going to want to give these a try, my friends. I'm telling you, they are so much fun. Reminder, they cannot go through the mail. They are too small. So these are going to be great cards to give away to friends, coworkers, just anyone who might need a little pick-me-up. Remember to go grab your free download. And hey, if you like the video today, give me a little thumbs up on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed, it's a great day to be a subscriber. Click that subscribe button and let YouTube know, and I know, that you want to see more videos like this here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for being here. Can't wait to stamp with you guys next time. Bye-bye.